Welcome, all of you fabulous women, to this new moon intention gathering here in June of 2026. And again, I just want to remind you, if you're here live or you're watching this recording, that it is my goal to always offer this. Pardon me, I'm choking on the incense in the room, to offer this a few days ahead of time so that you ladies always have the tools and the templates to really understand what's happening for the new moon that's rolling in each and every single month. So that's my goal. So always remember to check your inbox and look for those emails for your invitation, because I want you to be prepared and always ready. And that's how you're going to benefit from these free intention gatherings every single month. And always remember, it's a great place to invite some of your awesome, amazing female friends. All right, so we have one person joining us live in the house tonight. She's been a regular. We know she's from LA. She's awesome. She's amazing. So, when you're watching this as well, just remember to that my intention as well as always, even what you're watching the recording, is that you're connecting to the energy of the women in the room. Okay, so let's get started again, because I have a presentation for you tonight so you can understand this a little bit better. And I'm just going to shrink myself on the screen because I find it works better for me. And if anybody has any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the chat, or, it's always a safe space where you can stop and ask questions, but there will be time for Q&A at the very end. Okay, so here we go. All right, so tonight is the new moon intention gathering for June of 2026. And again, this is a sacred and a safe place for women to come together every single month and to practice some of the rituals and to use some of the templates that I have here for it. This is just my little agenda for tonight. And if you don't know me yet, I am your host. My name is Tamron, and I'm a women's wellness astrologer. And I am so passionate, pardon me, I might have to have a swig of my water, about teaching women okay, that's too funny. Went down the wrong tube. I tried to swing it too fast. Hold on, ladies. Catch your breath. I'm going to catch my breath. There we go. I'm going to catch a proper swig of water. Ah, yes. Okay. So let's try this again. My name is Tamron, and I'm a women's wellness astrologer. And I love to teach women how to use astrology as a template for their wellness so that they can be more emotional resilient, have more physical vitality, and really step into their spiritual evolution. And I am just so passionate about how astrology can be used, not just to talk about our sun sign, which is what we see in a lot of the stuff online, and some amazing little simple housekeeping suggestions for you each month so that you come prepared, or when you're watching this recording, you can stop. And is to always grab a large glass of pure water. And lately, I've been making my moon water, where I've been putting my water in a blue glass and putting it under the moonlight to really ask the moon to charge my water. And it's a powerful way to also create an intention in your water. So for the new moon, you can drink that water after it and you can use it, give you an extra boost of energy to really call in and to ask for what you want to manifest as of this month. Oh, the incense is getting strong. Okay, something is clearing in the room. Okay, this is powerful. Okay, a blue pen, and the reason why a blue pen is because black is really negative. And so I never write in blue pen. And in fact, on my walk about an hour ago, I found another big blue marker on the road in front of a school as I was walking today. Another sign from spirit to remind me about some of the things that are currently happening in my life, which I'll share with you later tonight. And also, what this full or new moon in Gemini is really all about. And for these new moon events is also to use a blank piece of paper. And I'll explain to you why as we go through. But I find that things just tend to manifest. We get more clarity when we actually physically write something down, as opposed to typing it on our laptop. There's some type of extra magic when it's that kinesthetic energy that's happening. And also to light a candle or use incense, just like I'm doing right now. And again, I'm just going to encourage you for these events not to have any alcohol or hallucinogens because we want your intuition to come in very crisp and clear for these events. So that is what I recommend for everybody. And it's pretty standard, actually, for all of my classes that I teach. So I'm going to give you the definition of a new moon because a lot of women that come to my events are not astrologers, and that's okay. You are definitely my avatar because I want to teach you how to use it. And you don't necessarily need to know anything about astrology. This is why I'm your guide and your teacher when you come here. So, the new moon is the regular monthly experience when the moon and the sun are in exact conjunct positions in the sky, which means they come together. So, if you go look out this evening, you're probably not going to see the moon because the sun is together in front of the moon. Oh, pardon me, on the new moon. So when the new moon happens, because we're a few days ahead. So this is a powerful time each month where it's very introspective. Okay. So even for people in their own astrological birth chart, if you're born close to a new moon energy, actually like myself, you tend to be a very introspective person and you process more on your own and in private before you share with others. That just seems to be the way you express yourself. However, for people that are born closer to a full moon, when the sun is shining a light on the moon, they tend to be, more expressive and talking about what's happening to them. So it's even good to understand this when you get an astrology wellness consultation. So understanding the two luminaries as the sun and the moon is also powerful clues in your chart to understanding yourself. Okay. So this is a very introspective energy that we're going through right now. So again, you don't have to be an astrologer. However, this is a picture of what the astrological sky is going to look like on Sunday in a few more sleeps at 10:54 p.m. Eastern when the sun and the moon are going to come together. So if you follow my cursor, my blue dot over here, you're going to see over here the glyph of the sun and the moon are together, and this astrological sign is Gemini. So this outer circle represents all the signs of astrology. So if you're to look out in the sky, certain planets are going to be in these astrological signs. So the sun and the moon are going to be together. However, what we're going to be talking about, and I'm going to be sharing with you again tonight, later on in this event, is also the energy of what's happening between Mercury, Jupiter, and Venus over here together, because they are creating a very strong effect on this new moon energy. And actually, these three planets together are actually going to be a huge storyline for the entire month of June. You may have already been experiencing it, but I just want to give you all a heads up that Mercury's gonna go retrograde at the end of June, which means Mercury in the sign of Cancer is going to start moving backwards in the sign of Cancer. And then in the middle of July, when he starts to move forward again, he's going to start moving through Cancer again. And he's actually going to be in Cancer for quite some time. And the reason I want to share this and talk about this tonight when we talk about the conjunction of these three planets together is because Mercury rules the astrological sign of Gemini. Okay, so this is a very important thing to understand. And I'm going to be giving you guys some insights on what this might represent in your own life, because the sign of Cancer is all about family. It's all about nurturing and how we feel safe, and the dynamics and the conversations that many of us are going to be having over this month, definitely, and over a few months of this summer. And so this is what's triggering around this new moon. And the last thing I'm going to talk about later on tonight is the fact that Uranus is now in the astrological sign of Gemini. And Uranus represents kind of like the lightning bolt, the genius moments, something suddenly happening right out of the blue. It could be conversations you're having, someone you meet while you're walking down the street, somebody sees a video, an email, some type of content you've created, because it's in the sign of Gemini. So there's a lot of Gemini Mercury energy happening this week. Okay. And so a lot of us are going to be feeling it and having a lot of conversations over the next little while. Okay. So I'm going to recap this again later, but this is what I feel is some of the important energies that I want to share with you tonight. Okay. So again, if you're new or you're watching this, I just want to share a little bit about myself, that these events of bringing women together actually started for me way back in 2015 when I had my brick and mortar business, which was a little shop. It was an old store that I bought, and I transformed it into a health and wellness center. It was actually called Tamaron Centers for Wellbeing. And on the main floor downstairs, I took the old general store and I made it to this open kitchen concept where people could come in and see us preparing mainly raw foods. And also we'd make organic fresh smoothies and juices and salads and a lot of amazing desserts. And in the upstairs is where I had treatment rooms where I was wanting to offer women more private consultations, more actual coaching, because I had spent a few years already as a certified health coach, and my passion was teaching them how to use remedies from nature, things like Bach flower remedies, herbs for teas, using essential oils and some other modalities to help them to gain emotional resilience when they were going through challenges. Because a lot of the women and some men, I did have some men practitioners come in, and a lot of them were actually people that own local businesses and they were practitioners. So they were sending their clients and referring them to come into my shop. However, what I found was that even though people were coming in and wanting to purchase the food, my passion was still about coaching and teaching. And so even around that time, I actually started putting together a lot of the recipes, a lot of the health tips, and I started combining a lot of the information into ways that I could support women. But again, women just wanted a place to connect and to gather. And so this is when these healing circles began, and they actually started on the full moon. And so we'd come together, and I was starting to put together these templates and teaching women how to always focus on themselves when they were going through a challenging time. And a lot of the women, including myself, when I've noticed I've gone through something, when I was going through some type of a crisis in my life, my health always suffered. And so this is also part of the mind, body, spirit, the connection we have. And so these circles have continued. They've continued through COVID. I do them online. I do them sometimes still live in person. And it's still my passion. And that's why I'm here. And I still offer these tonight as something that you can do each and every single month and to connect with other women just like you. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing 3 secrets tonight on how you can use this energy for the new moon. So the first secret is, ladies, I know a lot of women are experiencing this, but usually around the new moon or even the full moon, I find even for myself that my dreams and my intuitive downloads come in super duper strong. So I'm going to encourage you to always take some extra time out for yourself, especially a new moon, because like I said, a new moon is very introspective. So you want to be out in nature. You want to be connecting to your intuition, paying attention to those crazy dreams you have, and write them down, because whatever it is that you are feeling in your dreams is happening in your waking life. And it's also what you want to connect to so that you can understand what you are calling in, what you need to embrace under this new moon energy. So write them down. And I'm going to share a template with you tonight. Okay. So keep track. If you can, write it in blue pen if you're going to write them down. And I also want to share the definition of the Maharishi effect right now. And that is the phenomena in which large groups of people effectively spark positive change by focusing on a common goal. And when meditating or praying together on a common outcome, you and others can collectively tap into the energy field of abundance and start eliminating the common blocks and the patterns that we all have. So this is why it is so powerful to come to these events, whether again you're watching it as a recording, and to really write down and connect to what it is that's coming up for you. Because by having the other women in this circle, it enhances whatever it is that you're writing down. And it's just like the book E squared. And just like what we learned in school, and that is compounding something. So it's the energy of something multiplied by 10, and that's the law of karma. Okay. So, for example, if one person just sits down on their own and they write anything down during this new moon energy, it's just the energy of one person. But if you want to enhance what it is that is coming up for you, what you want to call in, then by joining and gathering with other women, one person plus another person is not the energy of two. It's the energy of one multiplied by 10. And so it equals the energy of 10. When you add a third person, it's 10 multiplied by 10, which is the energy of 100. Let's add one more person. So 100 multiplied by 10 is the energy of 1,000. And this is why people meditate and pray together and come together. It's even what's happening on a global scale right now on the planet. People are coming together to create change because change is needing to happen. Okay. So this is why we're going through this huge shift as well. Astrological secret number 2 is I'm going to encourage you to use the following template to also connect with your intuition. And we're going to take about a minute or two tonight. I'm going to share my template with you. I'm going to read from my own template, what's been bubbling up for me. And I'm going to encourage you to write down whatever is coming up for you. Don't worry about if it makes sense or whatever, but I'm going to encourage you to write it down. So you're going to pull in the energy and draw in some of the people and the places and the new things that are going to happen so that you can manifest this outcome that you want. And here it is. Here is the new moon template. So I'm going to share with you what it is on here. Then I'm going to encourage you to write it down. And then I am going to also share with you what it is that I've written down. So I'll stop sharing on the screen so you can see what it is that I write down and how I do this, and some additional insights and some wellness tips that I have been using lately, and what I've also been sharing on social media for women to use for this week and also for this new moon. So I'm going to give you about a minute, and I want you to always remember, just like Mel Robbins says in her book, Let Them, in the Let Them theory, like, you can't change anything about other people. You can only focus on changing yourself. And that's how you create the ripple effect, and how you lower the stress in your life is to just remind yourself to just set these healthy boundaries about yourself. And you're going to be much happier and healthier. And then you're going to find that some of these templates actually work for you. Okay. So, again, the new moon's happening in Gemini, and Gemini rules communication in astrology. It also rules short distance travel, but it's how we express our logical mind. It's about what we think about, okay? And when it's the moon that's being affected as well, is also, it's what you're feeling. So it's expressing what you're feeling. So again, if you're feeling that certain emotions are coming up for you, or you're wanting to call in something, this is what you want to write down. So for me, I wrote down this week, I am embracing feelings of receiving love through my stories. And the reason why I've been really focusing on that is because my word for this year was Anahata. And that's also my tattoo. And it's something that I started learning when I actually launched my own business, when women would come in and they'd say, you got to share more stories. You got to tell us more about your life. You just seem like you should be a speaker and a storyteller. And I would be like, I don't even know what stories to start talking about. I didn't even understand. And people were like, it doesn't matter. And so it encouraged me to start writing a blog. I started on online, or I started on the local radio, sharing my stories. I wound up online for many years. I wrote in the local health and wellness paper. I started doing a lot of these things. And so there's been different ways that I've continued to do that. And I realized by studying my own chart that Gemini and the planet Mercury actually rules a lot of my own personal chart. Okay. I have a lot of planets that are involved with Mercury and Gemini. So for me, part of my not even a goal, but part of my destiny is probably a better word, was that I was destined to become a storyteller. However, I've been working really hard the last couple of years on learning how to do marketing, storytelling, how to create structure, how to use templates. And so this was the year that I chose that I wanted to get paid. And when I studied yoga and put my logo together, as you see on the top of the screen here, that's what Anahata actually represents. It's the final stage of the heart chakra healing, is when we share our stories and we receive that divine abundance and reflection back from others as we share. Because Gemini needs the other person. It needs to have someone to listen, to share with, and to offer reflection and return. So for me, this has been a big one. Okay. And then embracing mental thinking patterns. I wrote about being accepted by my group, by my peers, by the right people who are destined to hear my stories. It's not about finding millions and millions of people and randomly anybody. No, there's an audience for me, and to be accepted by that audience. So that's what I'm calling in this new moon. Embracing behavioral patterns of sharing from the heart, right? Because remember, Mercury is sitting next to Venus in the sky. Okay. Venus is when we talk about what we love and our passion, and Jupiter is that expansion of that spiritual wisdom. Okay. So this is aligning for everybody, and you'll notice a lot more people are just more free, and they feel like it's easier to just share their truth and to share their stories and to not be afraid of expressing themselves. And lastly, I wrote, I'm embracing my abundance beliefs around getting paid to share my stories. So I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. And I'm also going to share with you guys what I also put on my sheet every single month, so you guys can use some extra tools. So I fill this out and I put it in blue pen. I always write down what month it is or what moon it is for Gemini, but also I love to keep track of what holistic remedies that I'm sharing, because this is what I'm using. I don't just put this on social media and recommend it to my clients. I am using the same holistic remedies as what I'm talking about. I walk my talk. So for this past month, I have personally been using a lot of rose high-grade essential oil. I've been putting it on my heart, a little bit behind my neck each month, and pure high-grade rose essential oil. I've also been using a beautiful women's uh, skin spray and some other stuff as rose, because even if we think about Mother's Day and roses, they're blooming on the planet right now. They're blooming in the northern hemisphere. There's no accident that these plants are actually blooming at the same time. And if we pay attention to what's happening around us, that's what the body physically needs as well. And once I'm done sharing more of what's on my sheet, I'm going to explain to you the healing benefits of rose and why it's aligning with what I'm talking about and how it can be beneficial right now for this new moon in Gemini. Also, frankincense, essential oil to stay really grounded. And even tonight and even tomorrow, the moon is actually in Taurus. And so with this Uranus energy in Gemini, I'm going to share a lot of people are having trouble sleeping. So, and that's going to be a transit that's going to be happening for like 7 years. So if you tend to be someone that has a lot of thoughts and ideas, and you do have a lot of Gemini in your chart, I'm going to recommend that you really focus on uh, finding better ways to manage your sleep so that you can really connect with your intuition and your guidance as well. And that's even including getting out and being barefoot. When the moon is in any type of an earth sign, I tend to be barefoot as much as possible because it just helps me to always stay grounded, even though I am very grounded, but I just love the feeling of being barefoot. And for a lot of you storytellers and speakers out there, what I've noticed, and it's happened to me in the past too, is that maybe you might get an invite all of a sudden to share on stage or to speak somewhere, maybe in a bigger audience that you're not accustomed to. And so a lot of our fears and stuff gets triggered. And so a lot of people tend to lose their voice when this happens. And so I've seen it so many times. And so one of the holistic hacks that I learned many years ago from having my shop was to use fresh pineapple juice, right? Whether you buy the fresh pineapple with the juice in it or just buy a little container of pineapple juice, the bromelain helps to kill the enzymes that create the sore throat, and add some warm water to it and add a dash of honey. And I swear, anything that's coming and being triggered on your throat is going to clear up so fast, and you ladies are going to be ready for that stage. Okay. I've seen it so many times that it's happened to me too. It's happened. So I'm like, okay, make sure I've got pineapple juice on hand. And it's also great if you have a sore throat or whatever, but I do find for speakers, we want to keep our throat clear. And also, this time of year, and anything to do with throat and Gemini rules the lungs, okay? It also rules sinuses and stuff, is to drink mullein tea. And I get it organic, I get it in a tea bag. I also use a mullein tincture. But if all of a sudden you're getting allergies or you're struggling with speaking and a lot of stuff's coming up, I recommend mullein tea. So that's what I've been using as well. And I write it down on my sheet so that I can use this for reflection. Okay. So I don't have to go back and go, what did I use again? And then, like I'm going to share with you, I take a picture. Okay. Am I making sense? Yeah. Okay. So there we go. So again, you can continue to write the stuff down over the next few days. And I actually leave this paper out on my desk when the new moon is rolling in because I start paying attention to what I'm feeling and what I want to call in. So now, and here's my magic marker that I found on the road today. Look at that. If that isn't a message from spirit, I don't know what is. I just found it like an hour ago. Okay. So I'm going to share with you the healing properties of rose because again, it's so powerful. It's so powerful to understand how to use this for this week and preferably for the entire month. So rose represents the oil of divine love, okay? And it holds a higher vibration. Oh, and it's very connected to Venus, by the way, Okay, so we've got close, Venus close to Mercury, next to Jupiter. So again, really, really powerful essential oil to use, or anything to do with roses. Okay, so it holds a higher vibration than any other oil on the planet. It's a powerful healer of the heart. And a heart, like I was talking about, when we share from the heart chakra is in its final stages of healing. And it supports individuals in reaching heavenward and connecting with divine love. And Rose teaches the essential need for divine grace and intervention in the healing process. And as an individual opens to receive divine benevolence in all its manifestations, the heart is softened. And if one can simply let go and choose to receive divine love, they are wrapped in warmth, charity, and compassion. And Rose invites individuals to experience the unwavering, unchanging, unconditional love of the divine. And this kind of love heals all hearts and dresses all wounds. And it restores individuals to authenticity, wholeness, and purity. And as one feels unconditional love and acceptance, the heart is softened. And as the heart fully opens, a fountain of love flows freely through the soul. And in this state, one feels charity and compassion. And charity is experienced on behalf of oneself and others. And Rose embodies divine love and teaches individuals how to connect or how to contact this love through prayer, through meditation, and opening the heart to receive. Okay. It just doesn't get any better than that. Okay. So again, let's use some Rose this month, ladies. It won't hurt us at all. In fact, if anything, we are going to benefit from it in our storytelling and our sharing. Okay, so I'm going to go back and share from the screen again. Let's get back to the template and keep rocking and rolling here. Okay. So the secret number 3 is I'm going to encourage you to take a picture of your written notes and keep in a safe place, such as your phone or in some sort of file for future reflection. So I do take a picture, and I also have a file, and I keep the file in my actual printed calendar for the whole year, because we're now rolling in the 6th month. So I'm going to be looking back at what intention I wrote in January. And I'll bet you any money something has manifested about what I wrote down. I guarantee it. There is something about what I put on my sheet that has already happened or is just about to happen. And that's how you can really honor what's happening with the moon, because the moon and the sun would have been in exact opposite position in the sky around that time. Okay. And it will reflect what I was writing and what I was talking about. So here's an example, right, which I've already manually showed you. And we're also going to pull an oracle card for tonight. So let me stop sharing again so you guys can see. We're using Colette Baron-Reid's deck. I'm using her deck, The Wisdom of the Oracle from Hay House. I love this deck. It's a double deck. So if the card comes up upside down, it's a different message. It's not necessarily negative. So if a card pops out, that's going to be our message. If not, I'm just going to stop. And I kind of feel like pulling a card from the middle of the deck. So why not? Let's take this one and see what the message is for all of us tonight. Oh, wow. Gotta love it. Almost the energy of the rose. It says the higher power. And you can see on here, if you look in at this very closely, you see an image in the back of a higher power. I'm going to keep that here. It's number 4, if anybody's into numerology. And so let's read this message for all of us. Okay. The essential meanings: conscious contact with the higher power and the presence of the divine, seeing source energy in all things, committing to partnership with spirit. Wow. Okay. So I'm really feeling like really trust your intuition and really pay attention to your dreams, right? Even if they don't make sense right now. So the message is, this card reminds you that you are more than a person trying to get ahead and make things happen for yourself and others. And you have an immortal soul and gifted with human life through which a higher power can express itself. And at this time, you need to be conscious of your connection to spirit and foster it through prayer and meditation, and ask, what is the highest good for all? And how can I serve? Then get out of your own way and trust that there is a plan for your life more wondrous than you can ever know. And you're always protected and divinely directed. And there's a little bit of a prosperity message here, so I'm going to read that too. Sometimes your work just flows through you. Ideas come rushing in, and inspiration bubbles up from a wellspring you didn't even know you could access. Oh my goodness, I have to share about that. And when you enter agreements and you begin projects, a new moon in Gemini, and negotiate deals with spirit as your partner, you'll always succeed. So let your higher power lead. And the synchronicities and intuitive nudges you feel will help you see which way you're being pointed and giving you confidence to move forward in the right direction. And don't forget to give credit when it's due. You wouldn't be a success without spirit's guidance, and humility will serve you well when this symbol appears. Oh my goodness. I love that message. I just have to quickly share because I don't know if this is happening to anybody else right now, but I've been doing a lot of very introspective writing lately because I've had more time to myself because I've been injured for a while. And so, I had to slow down. The universe wanted me to slow down more. And I always say that to my clients or people I follow: when you get injured, you're going through a major shift, and the universe wants you to slow down. Okay. It's not about rushing. And so, someone who tends to do a lot, when I've slowed down, because I was slowing right down, I have been more introspective, and I've been doing a lot more journaling, a lot more writing, and it's been amazing what I think I'm going to sit down and write about, and other stories are coming through. Like by the bucket loads. And I just love it. So it's been part of the healing process, and deeper and more spiritual and just more flowing. And so I love it. And so this is the new moon in Gemini, and very connected to speaking and writing from our heart. So I don't know about anybody else, but I love that message. Okay. So we're going to keep it. We're going to put that aside. Okay. So now I'm going to get back over here, and let's see. Let's keep going. And here's the recipe that I love to share with everyone, just for the new moon, because again, it's when we need to be introspective. And so I love having baths. I find that they really clear my aura and my energy, because I am very empathic as well, which I didn't know that when I was much younger. So, when I started studying energy work and working with teachers and healers, I had to learn that. And so when we want our intuitive downloads to come in and to not pick up on anybody else's energy, having baths is a great way to do that. So again, if you have the ability to have a bath, this is what I recommend always. This is for a new moon, never changes. And it's to mix a cup of Epsom salts, a half a cup of baking soda, 8 to 10 drops of essential oils of your choice. But again, I'm recommending for the new moon energy is always frankincense. Again, it connects to that higher spiritual wisdom. So when you're introspective, like you're picking up on things that are happening through your dreams and when you're out in nature and just, you get these random messages. And patchouli is awesome as well for staying very grounded and stability for financial growth. Again, because as we're wanting to express ourselves and call things in on the new moon energy, there is something about growth that needs to happen, and abundance and wealth and everything is connected to that. So, and I actually have a little blend of patchouli and eucalyptus that I blend together. It's like my signature scent. People always say to me, "What are you wearing?" And I'm like, well, it's not just patchouli, but patchouli actually goes great with eucalyptus. And eucalyptus is also really good for anything to do with the chest. Okay, and lungs. Okay, so if you are new to this community, ladies, also some of the next step is I have an offer for you where you'll be able to use the link provided if you're really wanting to understand a little bit more about your own astrological birth chart. This is where you're going to be able to purchase a soul to soul astrological wellness consultation with me at a very low ticket price. And this price is only when you come to these events or you're watching the recordings. Again, in the newsletter that you receive, you'll be able to connect with me on how you can purchase that and how we can get together. But this is how we're going to go deeper into your own personal birth chart to offer more personalized and empowering astrological insights and some wellness tips, along with a practical strategy to help you align your daily and weekly habits according to your unique astrological birth chart so you can achieve stronger emotional health and physical vitality. And in that consultation, which is pre-recorded, you're going to get 5 key astrological insights. And this is going to validate what you might already know about yourself, right? So sometimes astrology people are like, wow, sometimes you just need to hear it from an astrologer. Go, yeah, that is me. Also, you're going to learn what your subconscious landscape is represented in your chart that others don't know about you. So that's who you are in your house when nobody's looking. So when you learn that, you realize other people don't know that about you. They don't see that about you. So it gives you an opportunity to share that with other people, especially when you're in important relationships. That's a game changer, especially in a new relationship. I did that with my son and his new girlfriend. When she found out I was an astrologist, she was like so excited. And she was asking me all kinds of stuff. Were we compatible? Are we compatible? And I said, I'll tell you something. Stop listening to the stuff online. You want to understand compatibility. You have to understand this about you. And then you're going to have to express it to your partner, because that's how you're going to have more intimacy, when you're willing to share that. And so it really helped them, and it really helped them to grow together in their relationship. And a lot of times I say to them, see, that's your subconscious talking right now. So it's empowering. And also how your mind works, which is different for everyone. And so there's different placements in your astrology chart. And so when you know this is how you can understand yourself and express yourself better, because you might be expressing yourself in a way where people just don't get it, or they express themselves differently. So you can see why sometimes people have disagreements, or they'll say, you said this, and I'll be like, no, I said that, or I said that, but I meant this. Okay, so it's really powerful. Also, your karmic spiritual lesson, and I give everybody some spiritual homework to do, plus one personalized wellness action step based on an element of your birth chart. And there's always a signature, what I call a bonus, something that stands out in your chart. And I always share that as a bonus piece of information, because I do find that there's always something that will empower people on another level. I'm just going to take a swig of my water for a sec. Also, you're going to get a PDF image of your unique astrological chart, a PDF document of all the information provided, and a free VIP ticket. So now you're going to be in my community, my VIP community, once you make a purchase, to our future full moon experiences, now that you're part of our women's circle, which means you can gather with other amazing women twice a month. So not just on the new moon, but also on the full moon. And I'll be sharing my templates and wellness tips. And that's in 2 weeks' time. Oh, and I have to share, as always, a testimonial from a happy client. This came from Maggie McAllister. And again, right after she received her consultation, she sent me this. She said, Tamron, soul to soul, astrology consultation absolutely blew my mind. The combination of her intuitive gifts with her astrology skill is pure magic. And it's so validating. The insights she gleaned from my birth chart explains so much about my life, plus things that only happen inside my head. It truly felt she could sense my soul, and she even suggested homework I could do for more balance in my life. Thank you, Tamara, for this inspiring, fascinating, and truly unique to me experience. It's a life changer. So again, this is a low ticket offer that you're only going to get by attending this new moon event. And you can purchase this today or even after you watch the recording. And again, the link will be included in the newsletter follow-up that you're receiving. And this is a low ticket price of just $147 plus tax, Canadian, because I'm Canadian. So if you're American, even though the link you purchase it on is going to be in Canadian, when you receive your statement, when it processes, it's going to be approximately $125. Again, you only get this discount at this event. And this is a massive savings of 70% off the regular price. Again, I only offer a few of these each and every single month because it takes me time to do the research, prepare the recording from you, send you your documents, and it's regularly priced at $497. Okay, so it's a huge savings. So you want to get in there because there's only a few each month. Here is the QR code if you are interested in checking it out and purchasing right now. You can use your phone and click on it. And here's the direct square link if you want to go there. Again, this link will be included in the replay content. And as we get back into the final step is, I'm going to encourage you to take your piece of paper and I want you to go outside after that new moon energy and I want you to burn it. And I want you to call in and have faith that what you wrote down as it is done. Okay, the universe has heard your prayers. And so however you want to do it, this is where we used to throw our prayers into an actual outdoor Italian wood stove when I used to do my live events during COVID. And again, I'm encouraging not to do this inside your house. Do not burn your papers unless you actually have a fireplace, but please do it outside. And also again tonight, I just want to talk a little bit. I'm going to show it on the screen again, what this might represent with the sun and moon in Gemini. Like I talked about, when the sun and the moon come together, they're luminaries. So the sun sign is how we stand out in the world, and the moon is how we our subconscious and how we express ourselves. So for a lot of people, when the sun and the moon come together in Gemini, there's a lot of phone calls. You might hear from siblings, your friends, you get more texts, you get more messages, you get a lot of this extra Gemini energy happening. And Jupiter and Mercury are conjunct in Cancer with Venus nearby and Leo. So I'm going to share it again on the screen in a minute, but this is how it might show up. Okay. So it could be a desire to learn something new. More phone calls, more messages, more invitations to gatherings, to social activities, especially in your neighborhood, in your community, with friends, with family members, okay? Increased focus on travel, transportation, or getting around more efficiently. And also with the new moon as well on travel, this is short distance travel. So it's, zipping around in your local community, could be short flights, things in your car, anything to do with two, could be on your bicycle, it could be out walking, okay? New friendships tend to happen, or reconnecting with people from the past. And I want to remind you that Mercury is going to go retrograde at the end of the month. And so this might enhance a lot of this energy with Jupiter and Venus together in the sign of Cancer. The people from your past may have something to do with your family connections, may have something to do with your mother, especially because Cancer rules the mother energy. A very busy mind filled with ideas, inspiration, and possibilities. This is why a lot of people don't sleep, okay, under this energy. Or a lot of people that have a lot of Gemini in their chart don't know how to turn their mind off. Always on their phone, always connecting, talking, whatever, and they have to learn how to turn the mind off. Also, it could be a desire to journal, like what's happening to me, to write more, to teach, opportunities to teach, to create more content, or to even share your experiences, just like what I do every single month at these events. I open the space by sharing so that it's a safe place. Conversations about family, home, roots, and where you actually feel like you belong, and opportunities to teach through personal experiences, sharing your authentic stories. You might want to use this energy to ask yourself if you've been waiting for a sign to share your ideas or launch your project, start writing your book, host that workshop, begin the podcast, or have the conversation you've been avoiding. This might be it. Okay, this is this whole Gemini energy, and it's also connected to Uranus in Gemini. Okay, there's just a lot of Gemini energy happening right now. Okay, also, because it's a new moon energy and very introspective, where in your life are you being invited to become more curious instead of needing to have all the answers, right? So just like the card said, higher power is already working. So instead of trying to figure things out and try to put all the pieces together, just do it. Just do the podcast. Just share the book, just whatever. And the path will appear. I did that as a post the other day. Stop waiting for the path to appear. Just take a step and trust that the path is going to appear, that the right people and the places show up authentically and based on your energy and what's destined to happen. Okay. What message or gift or truth that you now have that's ready to be expressed more openly and authentically, right? This is this whole heart Venus energy. And just, just globally what's happening. We're seeing that too. People aren't so afraid anymore to speak their mind and to share. So this is the recap again of why this is happening in the astrological sky. And this is what I feel called to talk about tonight. Again, there's other things happening with some other planets as well. However, I'm going to highlight one specific thing that I didn't write on the notes, but because this is happening exactly today, in the astrological sky, that people are feeling it. I'm feeling it as well. So I'm going to share. And it has to do with the nodes of the moon. And in astrology, the nodes of the moon are all about destiny. It's all about fate. It's all about, you can't make this stuff up. Okay. It was destined to happen, whether you believe in astrology or not. And that is the fact that Uranus, which is this planet over here, who is now moved into the sign of Gemini, is literally at the midpoint of the nodes. So this is the north node, and the south node is over here. You don't see it as a glyph, but it's at the midway point. And so when something is at the midway point, it is squaring. It means it was destined to happen. You're destined to bump into somebody. And because Uranus is sudden, this can be all of a sudden some unexpected random thing happens that you may not have ever have known was coming. You couldn't have predicted it, whatever. So just pay attention to any emails, to text messages, to people referring, people randomly seeing your stories or hearing your stories, or you sharing your stories or whatever. This is an amazing energy. And so you might want to really just honor it when it happens. Okay. I'm getting goosebumps even talking about this. So this is a very interesting energy because when it's square, it means something in your life is ready to change because your life is ready to move into a new direction that has to do with your creative expression. Okay. So for a lot of people, they're going to be feeling this. It could be, again, the conversations you have with someone where you go, I didn't see that coming, right? Or whatever, and just being authentic, right? And getting more clarity and the ability to express ourselves more authentically. So pay attention to what happens over the next few days, or maybe it's already happened for you. All right. And I just wrote in here tonight something new to add to my presentation, a new moon affirmation. And this has a lot to do with a lot of the energy that I feel is happening as well. And so a mantra and an affirmation is to open my mind to new possibilities, trust my inner wisdom, and confidently share my voice with the world. So I thought I would throw that in for all of you and for myself. And if anybody has any questions, I will unshrink myself here because we can stop for a moment. For anybody live, do you have any questions at all at this point before I share the last two things? No. Okay. Pretty straightforward. That means I did a good job at making my presentation because I've redone it a few times in this past year. So this is more of the teaching aspect of it. And again, you're welcome to follow me on social media through my Linktree account or my social media. And just remember to stay, in order to stay connected, to always make sure you get invited to these new moon events and to invite your friends, is just to check your inbox. Again, they're always going to be a few days before so you can prepare. So that's going to be in 4 weeks' time. And you can share that newsletter or the link with your friends. You're always going to have to register for the new moon. That way I capture your email for the new people. and then you're going to get the recording, because the majority of people actually don't come live, especially if it's their first time. So you do get the recording, and it makes sure that I capture your email, and then you're going to get on my main email list. So there's going to be other experiences and events that I'll be putting up. Yeah, pretty soon I'll be putting my weekly newsletters out again, because I've been working on some updated branding as well. And so I've been pretty excited about that, and some new social media that I'll be doing as well. So it's all going to come together soon. So you'll be receiving that. Some women have actually reached out to me and said, like, did you take me off your email list? And I said, no, I just haven't been sending them out. And they're like, oh, okay. So I'm like, okay, don't worry. They're going to come back. They're going to come back. And again, you can unsubscribe at any time if it's too much. And again, this was one of my pictures, and I've had so many conversations about this. This actually used to sit in my brick and mortar store. And I just love this. Well-behaved women rarely made history. And that's just a fact. Like, I am sorry if you're going to tell me to lie down and keep my mouth shut. It's just not going to happen. I'm just not that type of person, right? If I got something that I have to say, or something that I believe needs to be changed in this world, um, I kind of have been known to have the courage to say it. And so a lot of people are like, yeah, okay, right on, here we go. And more women are becoming empowered right now. We are in the age of Aquarius, where more women are stepping into our spiritual leadership and our power too. And then for people that are here still live, if they want to share, I'm going to stop recording. And if you have anything you want, I got to make sure I do this right. Hold on a second here. First, I'm going to stop sharing because it's easier. And then let's stop the recording.